After 25 long years, Marcus arrives home. He served Rome well as a soldier, surviving the cold winters, the long marches, and the misery of missing his family. Near the tail end of his service, he had children, a son, a daughter, and now all he wishes is to be home. He marches from his camp in Gaul to the countryside of modern-day Milan. He crests the hill and sees his quaint home, a farm. Far in the distance, he can see his wife and children waiting for him on the porch. He knows that he is finally home. It's morning in northern Scandinavia, and Yona wakes up her two boys for breakfast. They'll be joining their father, Sven, on a trip beyond the mist, beyond the horizon. We are Vikings, explorers at heart, they remind themselves, and cannot wait for their adventure. Yet as the boys shove off in the long ship, Yona stands at the threshold of the home and cannot help but worry. Other men have done the same, never to return from the sea. Will my boys be okay? I just want them safe back home. Is worry for your family such an ancient idea? It's midday in the northern Andes, and Pakai and his brothers are doing what they always do, running the cliffs, seeing who's fastest up the mountain. They dodge branches and vines, the pounding of feet on the mud of the earth. They take a sharp corner trying to elude one another, laughing along the way. We've all played under the same sun for thousands of years. The hot sun pounds down on the gold panners of California. Daniel is one of them, a father of 5 daughters. He desperately searches day and night for a scrap of gold. There's gotta be something here, he tells himself. Thousands of other families, men, women, and children flocked here in search of riches, to elevate their families from poverty, to give them a better life than what they've known for generations. But each night, Daniel returns to his tattered wooden shack with nothing to show. It seems that the dream might be fading away. Tom clutches his Bible tight. A hail of fire and brimstone cracks above him. He's terrified to stick his head up, to look across no man's land. I don't even know why I'm here, he wonders. Night falls. He hears German spoken across the trenches, just mere feet away, it seems. And then, nothing. Boredom rots the brain for days. The silence is deafening. It drives the men mad, he writes in his journal. I hope one day to leave this place, never to return. I miss Rufus. I'm sure he's lazing about on the farm somewhere. Maybe when I get back I'll finally ask Mary to a dance. I always liked the way she did it. And then there's you, a human in the modern era who is not so different. Those figments of my imagination could have been real people. People who miss their families, who pray for their safety. Sometimes we just want to fit in and be part of the group, or we work tirelessly for the benefit of those we love dearest. But sometimes those dreams are cut short. They die on battlefields because we forget how similar we really are. Throughout history, fathers, brothers, cousins fight each other, claw at each other's throats over our differences, from massive clashes of morality to the most trivial scraps over a loaf of bread. Tribal lines are so easily drawn, making it us versus them. We use race and religion, politics and economics as scapegoats to insult, ostracize, and conquer each other. But now, in the modern era, is this still true? Do we all really hate each other? Or rather, is that the desired outcome perpetuated by the titans of government and media? The world we live in thrives on tribalism, negativity, even death. We love to point and laugh at the simpletons of social media, using extreme examples as a way to perpetuate stereotypes and generalize an entire people. But I truly believe that most people are normal, decent folk who just want the same things you do. We all want to be loved. We crave social validation. We want the best for our families and friends. And we want to feel happy with how our lives have turned out. In a way, we're all the same. But it is oh so easy to forget this. tens of millions of people died in World War I, and most of them were just like you, a person near the start of their adult life with hopes and dreams, only for those dreams to be extinguished. It's clear we learn nothing from war, generation upon generation thrown into the pit of fire. But what is the breeding ground for war? First, you must give people a reason to fight, an enemy to dehumanize, to plant seeds of hatred in the populace that festers until we tear ourselves apart. Every time I see a video or headline of an article that is so obviously trying to pit people against each other, it saddens me. Seeing people digitally brawl over a crafted narrative that acts simply to deepen the pockets of those who wrote the story. We think we're so clever, weaving a web of witty insults, yet all we've done is boost engagement, make someone else wealthier, and in the process we add another crack to the armor of society. This type of behavior is inherently corrosive to the integrity of our existence, when we're so easily duped into hating one another that we are blinded into violence. I know that's a bit dramatic, but it is a slippery slope between online arguments to in-person violence. And again, this is not exclusive to modern society. The Romans convinced themselves of their superiority over virtually everyone in the ancient world. The Crusaders believed wholeheartedly that they must fight the Muslim world. But for what? When the dust settles, men die at the hands of politicians who charmed a nation into hatred. I do not have a proposal for an alternate system. To believe that I could figure it out and solve tribalism is ridiculous. It's human nature to stick together and cast out strangers or people who do not fit our worldview. But I will say this. Too many people have been enchanted into hating another group on the basis of their beliefs conflicting with that of someone else. But it's also naive to believe that every last person on Earth is decent. There are outliers to any system, so if you are going to get involved, choose wisely. This is all beyond the trite idea of just be nice to people. Rather, recognize how unremarkable your desires and values truly are. The Romans spat at the idea of the barbarians of the North, that the Germans were uncivilized. And then 2,000 years later, the Germans adopted the exact same ideals and used them against the Jewish people. It's ridiculous. Peeling back the curtain will reveal that we all eat and sleep, love and laugh in the exact same way. And to cast down judgments on the basis of culture, religion, or race is absurd. Those short stories from earlier, those fictitious people of history, are not so different from us. The things that we hold closest to us have not changed since the first human walked the earth. We are just as compassionate, playful, and creative as the ancient Egyptians, but our arrogance, our tendencies to manipulate, and selfishness is just as present. Never has it been easier for us to destroy ourselves, and the current trajectory of human behavior makes this probability rise. A snake left unchecked may devour its own tail, and humans are no different. We only get one chance here on Earth. We only get one Earth, so spending your days drawing lines in the sand and bickering with strangers, or God forbid fighting each other on the battlefield, would be the greatest tragedy of all. At the end of the day, we are all the same. I'll catch you later.